be just right.
Hey! Hey, guys!
Hello, everybody. Oh, goodness. There goes T-Bone shaking the camera. Hello. I'm Christy with Christy's Craft Room.
I'm not.
That's my husband, Tim, also known as I'm Not. He is hanging out in the craft room with us. We are going to craft tonight. We are going to, we're going to make a memorial angel with this wood cutout from our shop. And we are going to, we're going to hang out. We're going to chat. I'm going to say, I'll wait for a few more people to come on before I say that. But come on in, say hi, let us know when you're here, let us know how you're doing today. Hello, Miss Dawn. I see Ratia is here, Molly's here, Laura's here. Hello, Miss Beth Patterson. Hello, Patricia Brown. How are you? Hello, Shirley. Hey, so you guys, we're gonna craft. We're gonna chat. We are going to hello, Miss Wanda. Hello, Miss Wendy. You got a different notification? That was a different notification, Wendy said. What was different about it, Wendy? We didn't send the text yet, so it was a YouTube notification that she got. You're feeling the greatest, waiting for your infusion. Well, I'm glad you're feeling. Oh, did she say you're feeling? See, the only thing with YouTube. Oh, YouTube does let me go back.
Locked.
I'm not feeling the greatest. What's locked? Wait, what? Because you have no members selected.
Oh.
You got to tell them who you want to send the text to before it'll let you send the text.
Hey, look at that.
I'm sorry you're not feeling the greatest waiting for your infusion, but I hope you get to feeling better afterwards quickly, okay? Hello, Miss Sandra. Hello, Crystal. Hello, Lana. All right, guys. So we are going to craft. We are going to make a memorial angel. The text just went out. If you did not get the text, you can text hello to 810-374-0342, and we will send you a text message when we go live, okay? You'll never have to miss a live unless you choose to. Hello, Miss Patty. Thank you for sprinkling. Definitely sprinkle. We are going to be gifting. I have 2 extra sets of these angels here tonight. We're going to gift 2 sets of these tonight. Probably somebody on YouTube and probably somebody on Facebook, okay? Hello, Miss Charmaine. How are you? Carolyn got 4 angels. Awesome. You got the set of 4 angels, the angels with the metal wings. Those are super, super, are those the ones you got? Those are super, super cute too. But yes, these are from our shop. The link is in the description. Tim can put it in the comments for you too. Hello, Miss Janet. Hello, Miss Lynn Zwetch. So if you are in our, just real quick reminder for our craft kit group, if you're in our craft kit group, I just posted something over in there today an announcement for you guys.
That you all gonna want to take a peek at.
You're not gonna want to miss that. So make sure you pop over to that group this evening and check it out. Okay, I pinned it into the featured section at the top of the group. So make sure you check that out if you're in our craft kit group, okay? Because it's an important announcement that I think you guys will be excited to see. So Naya, I've got my tissues. Okay, Naya is my niece. Naya was super, super close with my sister. She actually named her, she just said hi on Facebook. She actually gave her daughter my sister's middle name. So, or gave her daughter's middle name is my sister's name. So, which is super, super sweet and special. So I am going to share, I've never shared this story here on the main page before. And I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling good. I've cried a lot the last couple days. So hopefully I can make it through it. But Naya says Riley Sandra, that's her name. My sister's name was Sandra, and Riley's, hold on, we'll dance just 1 second. I want to read this. Riley Sandra and I have been talking about her and telling her happy birthday all day. That's so sweet, Naya. That's so sweet. It's dancing time.
It's dancing time.
Dancing time. Let's dance. Get feeling good before we cry.
Because we all know she gonna cry.
I'm so emotional, y'all. I'm so emotional. I am an emotional person anyways.
She is.
So, and this has just gotten to me this year. So for those of you that don't know and haven't seen my posts over the last couple of days, today is my sister's birthday, my sister Sandy's birthday. Her name was Sandra. Those of us that were really, really close with her and grew up with her call her Sandy. That's when she was little, what she was called. Just like my name's Christy, it's technically Christina. Everyone calls me Christy, but my closest family call me Chrissy. They drop the T. You know, it's those little affectionate little shortened names that you call the closest people to you, right? So Sandy was a year and a half older than me. and she was, y'all, we were just, there were a lot of kids. I'm the youngest of 8. We grew up in the country. My parents, my dad was the hardest working person you can ever imagine. He worked really hard. He worked a lot to support us all. And my mom was super, super creative, always coming up with different fun things for us to do. That's where I get my hard work and drive from my dad. I get my creativity from my mom. So it's just the perfect mix of the two of them that have made me who I am, plus all the circumstances and things I've been through in life contribute to it as well. But we were always out playing. We were always creative. Her and I used to sit and play Barbies. We used to hide over behind our camper, and we would make little Barbie campfires. We'd pretend they were stranded on an island, and we'd put little rocks around it so it wouldn't travel and it would be safe. And we would make little campfires with the dry grass. Thank goodness we live in Michigan and not in one of the drier states, because you would have seen our faces up on some posters somewhere as, kids wanted for starting some crazy fires or something, but we just were close. And then when we were teenagers, we fought with each other because we were close enough in age that we fought over hairspray. We fought over clothes. She was a year and a half older than me, so I wasn't cool enough to be around her. We went through all of that. But then as we passed that, we got older, we got closer again. Both of our youngest kids, Elena and my nephew, Brody, were born 6 months apart from each other. So they were really close, and we would do stuff with them all the time and dress them up for parades and do all kinds of different things. So it was, she was just super, super amazing and super, super fun. And she was very creative. She loved home decor and making her home pretty and decorating for the holidays and decorating her front porch and just going. She was a little extra. Naya, she was a little extra, right? I think it's safe to say. She was a little extra. She took the extra level when you went to a party. She took it up to the next notch when she was having a party. Halloween costumes were not just simple Halloween costumes. It's a family theme. It's all out, homemade, the whole 9 yards. Cupcakes for birthdays were not just your standard cupcakes. Of course, she had to make them fancy and pretty and cute and do all the extra things, right? So she would have loved this. She would have loved the page. She would have loved just everything about it. She would have been super, super supportive, and she just would have loved it. And she definitely played a role. I'm going to get to crafting shortly here, guys. I'm going to get to the crafting. It's not going to take real long, so we're going to talk a little bit first. So she would, I lost my train of thought. What were I saying?
Your sister being extra.
No, I was moving on from that.
Oh.
Crap, y'all. I'm so bad. Y'all, what was the last thing I said? Somebody help a girl out. Somebody help
You
a
said
girl out.
she'd always go over the top with the cupcakes, and that was the last thing you said.
No, it wasn't, because I know I said after that she would have loved the page. And she played a role in starting this page. She did, even though she wasn't here. When I decided to start this page, I'll be honest, y'all, I didn't really know a lot about that there were a lot of these types of pages. Like, I had seen things here and there, but didn't really follow a lot of people or anything like that. And then when we found my sister Susie, who was adopted, you guys have all heard, most of you have heard that story. She came to visit. Her daughters came with her and her husband. And my niece Erin, she had a page like this, and she saw my craft room, and she saw the different projects and things that I had done, and furniture I had refinished, and crafts I had done. And she's like, "Girl, you need to start a page." And I thought she had lost her mind, because I could never do anything like that. I could not do that. But it stuck like a little bug in the back of my brain, and I just couldn't let it go. I just kept coming back. And I was like, well, I don't know. And I was talking with my other sister about it a lot. And then all of a sudden, I was really maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do it. I was talking with my sister about it. I was praying about it a little bit because I was looking for something different. I wanted something different. I had been working a 9 to 5. I had been had already left that and went back to do photography full time, and I was becoming very successful with that. I was very busy with that, but it was still robbing me of my time and taking me out of the house away from my family. And I knew there was still something different that would have been better for me. I just didn't know what it was. So that kept coming back, and I was like, I don't know. Well, then I got a call out of the blue, and this is kind of fast forwarding. I'm going to go back to her story of losing her.
But you got to dance.
Is it dancing time again, y'all?
Dancing time
It's
again.
dancing time. Dancing time. It's dancing time. It's dancing time. It's dancing time.
Oh, you got me to dance twice tonight.
You all got Tim to dance twice tonight. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to go back, and then we'll come back. We'll bring it all back, okay? While I do that, I'm going to start by staining my memorial angel, okay? So I'm going to stain I'm going to stain both pieces. So it comes with 2 pieces, okay? I'm going to stain these. I'm going to show you how they go together.
Just read. Oh, shoot.
Oops.
Oh, dang it.
Vicki, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to explain how my sister passed. I've never shared that here before. I've shared it in the craft kit group probably like a year and a half ago. I shared it with them, but I've never shared it here on the page. It's not something I like to talk about, but it's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that I'm going to share that with you. And I'll share with you why we have a memorial on the roadside and everything as well. So first we're going to start by staining this. We're going to craft and talk, okay? So my sister, she,
Pearland, Texas. Hello,
Pearland, Texas. Where's my antique wax? Here it is. I'm like, where did it go? I'm going to use some antique wax. You can use brown paint. You can use stain. You can use any color you want. You guys can do this, like paint a solid color. You can Mod Podge scrapbook paper on it. There's so many things you can do. This is just one way that you can decorate it. I'm going to kind of give it a neutral. I'm going to do like a crackle finish on it. And I'm going to do a brown base, very neutral, because that's me, on it. So I don't really even know where to begin, I guess. So my sister, I'm just going to go into it. My sister was out with friends for an evening.
It says, you are very strong, Chrissy. I'm here to support you with sharing,
You gotta be louder.
in her memory.
Sorry.
I'm trying to read it.
I know.
Chrissy, you are very strong, Chrissy, and I am here to support you with sharing in her memory and story. I love you.
Thank you, Naya. Thank you. I'm probably going to end just painting. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and stain the back. So my sister, she loved to be with family. She loved to be with friends. She loved to socialize. She was a very social person, very social.
She was.
And they were out with friends for the evening, and they were just having a great time. They were having fun with friends. It was an annual holiday event that they would go out, and they would try to be very responsible. They would rent a limo bus, and they would all meet right just down the road from their house, very close. They would ride this limo bus, go all have a great time, go out to dinner, a night on the town with friends, okay? And so they went out. They had a wonderful, wonderful time with friends. They came back to the location where all of their vehicles were parked, not too far from her home. And they were just all having a fun time. It was late into the evening, probably 1:30 in the morning at this point, ish. And somehow things happened. She got separated from her group, and at some point decided she was going to walk home.
And for a country girl,
she was a tough girl. She was a country girl. She was a tough girl. I got this. I can handle myself. I'm independent and I'm going home. And she was going home.
It's only a mile and a half.
It's only a mile and a half.
Oh, looks like Kelly's here too.
Hey, Callie. Kelly's here. So she got separated from her group. She was walking home. Her friends weren't aware of this at the time. They weren't aware that, they knew she had left. They thought she had left with somebody else. There was just a lot of confusion surrounding it. I know 100% for fact, these friends, if they had known that she was walking by herself, I know they would have gone. I know they would have gone and followed her. I know they would have gone. They would not have let her. I know that. But they didn't realize. There was just a lot of confusion happening. They knew she left. They thought she left with somebody else. She did not leave with somebody else. She left by herself. And so fast forward. She never made it home. She never made it home. And it was eventually reported that she had never made it home. So people came out, having conversations and finding out, trying to figure out where she was and what was going on.
Hi to our friends in the UK.
In the meantime, so she's reported missing and not there. By this point, it's getting to be late in the evening. But at the same time, simultaneously to this, a phone call was made shortly after 8 in the morning that somebody was found in a parking lot, not too far from where they had been. And you guys, I'm being very careful in my choices of words.
How old was she?
37. She was 37 at the time. She would have been 47 this year. It was 10 years ago. So in December, it'll be 10 years since this happened. So I'm being very careful with my words because, one, these social media platforms are very particular on the words you use, and they have robots listening, and they will flag you if you use certain words. So that's why I'm being a little cryptic in my choices of words and how I share this, okay? So in the meantime, they found somebody. Somebody called and reported it, and they went out and they investigated it. And by this point, word is starting to spread. It was actually on the news and stuff, but none of us saw it or knew it or realized. We were all busy that day, and none of us had realized. I don't even know what time. Thinking back, I don't even know what time the first news story happened, but I know they were there. Because you could see all the investigative stuff happening in the background. They didn't show, obviously, they put up tents and they block off things. But I don't even know, okay? Turns out, one of her friends, her husband actually worked for one of the local law enforcement agencies. And so she's kind of over, her husband's getting these calls, and they were with them that night, and two and two is coming together because they're getting phone calls going, is she at your house? Where is she? What's going on? And, okay, so I've got my antique wax on. I wanted to use a little bit of gold paint. I don't have any gold paint. I know, I don't have any gold paint. Can you believe that?
No.
So I have this Distress Oxide. It's like a stamp pad, but it's Rusty Hinge is the color. So it's kind of a goldish color. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of this and rub some of this on and kind of bring out a little bit of gold, okay? Rusty gold. So it's kind of all coming together for them, okay? We are clueless. We know nothing of this at this point. And at first they reported it as somebody not even close to her description. So it was kind of dismissed at first. But then with the clothing and different things like that, it kind of started to come together, and the jewelry and things like that. of that nature. So we were, I'm sorry I'm all over the place a little bit, guys, because I've never shared this story outside of one-on-one talking to somebody. So it's a little different for me. I'm gonna dry this. So eventually they came to the conclusion that they were pretty sure that this was her. You know, they started questioning people and asking a lot of questions of, you know, those that were around her the night before, like, you know, what happened, you know, asking a lot of questions. We didn't get the phone call until late that evening. We were sitting having dinner, and wasn't it Dave that called you?
Yeah.
My brother-in-law, Dave, a lot of you guys met him at the live event. My sister Kelly's husband called Tim. And you know, when those phone calls come and you just know something's not right, something's off, something, you're like, what's going on? And, you know, I could tell he's like, what? And then he's like, well, where's mom? And I instantly went to, where's dad? What's going on? Something happened to dad. You know, tell me what's going on. He won't tell me anything. He gets up, he walks out the door. And I'm like, what's going on? I knew it was bad. The kids are all sitting at the table, you know, so that's why he went outside.
And at first I thought he was joking.
That would be a really sick joke. But he did, it was so unbelievable, so unexpected and unbelievable. So he's outside standing in the driveway. I tell the kids to stay put, Mom, you'll be right back. But you know, trying to not let on to the kids that something's happening. And I went out to the front porch, and this has to dry just a little bit more. Went out to the front porch, and he's on the phone. He's pacing in the driveway, and I'm like, what is going? He gets off the phone, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, what happened? And he's just like, I don't even know. He's like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to tell you. And I'm like, how to tell me what? Like what? Like, is it dad? Is it dad? What's wrong? Is dad okay? Is he alive? Is it, you know, like instantly. And he's like, it's not your dad. And I'm like, what? Because I knew mom must be okay. Because he's like, well, where's mom? You know, so I knew like mom must be okay. So that's when he says, you know, it's your sister. And I'm like, what do you mean it's my sister? Like, what? And, you know, he didn't have a lot of answers. None of us had a lot of answers. But, you know, so he had to tell me that all we knew was that she had passed, that they were out with friends, and that she apparently had a car hit her. That's all we knew at that point. That's it. Turns out it ended up being a lot more than as simple as that. And so of course we all gather, we all go to my parents' house where, you know, we get the kids settled. You know, Adam was old enough to be home with the kids. We didn't really tell them a lot because we didn't want them to be too upset, but we kind of, it was like 8:30 at night, I think, something like that. It was late. We were having a late night dinner. By this point, it was like 8:30. Like, it was probably 7:30. We were eating, right? You know, we got the kids to bed, got the little ones settled in, left Adam in charge. We went to my parents' house. Everybody gathered there. And when we got there, my dad was gone. My dad had gone to the coroner's office. My parents save everything. They save everything. So my dad had old dental record information in the safe, and fingerprints from when we were kids and went and got our fingers printed. And because it was hard for them to, they had to identify. And it was very difficult for them to do that because of the nature of the accident. So my dad had to go there, and he had to, you know, give them this information. And it helped because they gave them information and gave them a start and kind of helped speed up the process. But, you know, it took time. We didn't get a confirmation until like 3 days later. We knew, like, it was known. It was pretty clear, but you know how it is. They have to have official confirmation. with dental records and things like that. And so what happened was she turns out, so, okay, I'm going to keep going. This is dry. I'm using hairspray, y'all. I'm using the same hairspray my sister and I used to fight over as kids. You all remember the Aquanet, okay? Christmas, my mom would buy us the jumbo can of Aquafresh. Each of us girls would get our very own can with our name written on it.
Oh, Kelly says
that we didn't have to share.
Dave went with Dad.
Dave went with Dad. That's right. Dave and Dad went. It's amazing how like it all becomes jumbled and all the details get all mixed up in your head, you know? So what happened was she had left, and another couple that was there had seen her, and they saw her by herself, and they were like, you know, they tried to like, oh, go back in, like go in with your friends, and you know, and she wasn't going to, she was going home, she was leaving, and they watched her walk around the building. For this crackle technique, you use several layers, nice and thick, of hairspray. Like you want it to puddle a little bit. You want it nice and thick. Like get it in there, get it wet, and dry it. Okay. So they had seen her walk around the building, and then they drove around, and they saw that they didn't see her. They're like, she disappeared. She was gone. So they thought she went in the other entrance, because there was another entrance with the elevator that went up. And they thought, well, she must have gone back in. She's good.
Take a breath.
I know, right? Take a breath. I know. I'm like,
Take a breath.
all over. So this is the part where it's really probably best if you have little ones listening that they maybe don't, okay? I'm going to be very careful in the way that I phrase things and word this, but it could be triggering, okay, for some people, and could be a lot for little ones. So she was determined she was leaving, and she left, and she made it maybe a half mile down the road. It was probably about a mile or so from their house, and she made it about a half mile. There was an older couple that had said that they had seen her, and they had actually said like, wow, it's so dangerous to be out walking, you know, alone at night. And I believe they had said they had turned around to go back, but then they didn't see her. So they continued on their way. So what they believe happened is that she was walking. There was a trail. There was a trail that she could have walked on, but the trail went through the woods. And, you know, when you're alone and you're a female and you're walking at night and you have a choice, walk through the trail in the woods or walk on the side of the road where you're in public and people can see you. I can understand why she would say, I'm going to walk on the side of the road where people can see me, because it's creepy to walk through the woods all by myself alone. Odds are she would have been safer walking through the woods in the dark alone than walking on the side of the road. But you don't know that in that situation. She didn't know that. She was probably just trying to make the safest, best decision that she could. So that's what she did. And
Hi, Patty.
what they believe happened was she was walking on the correct side of the road with the flow of traffic, and someone came along from behind, distracted, on their phone, had taken in too much of something, and maybe shouldn't have been driving. We don't know. You know, it was raining. It was an unusually warm December night. It was probably like it was like 55, close to 60 degrees that day. Like it was unusually warm for Michigan in December, and it was raining. And she, we're gonna do one more coat. I'm gonna tell you, don't chintz on the hairspray. Don't chintz on it, just like in the 80s when we, you know, went crazy with it. Go crazy with it. Don't chintz on it. Don't use a good hairspray. Use a cheap hairspray, okay? A good hairspray like Aussie that has like a lot of conditioners and things like that in it tends to not work as well as something that has a lot of like alcohols and drying effects. Okay, that's what you want. You want the stuff that's not super good. Rave tends to work well. Aquanet works well. So we're gonna do one last good wet coat, and then we're gonna add our top coat of paint. So they believe she was struck from behind and somehow got lodged to the vehicle. And the vehicle continued to go. And she was underneath it. And it proceeded to go about a little over a quarter of a mile with her. Through an intersection, like up and down. And pulled into a parking lot. So they must have recognized either one, that they hit something, two, their vehicle wasn't running quite right. They felt the drag, they felt something wasn't right, so they pulled over. So in some way, some fashion, they knew at very least something was wrong, okay? They pulled into the parking lot.
Not raid. Not raid.
Rave. I said rave. Rave. R-A-V-E hairspray.
Yeah, not raid.
Not raid. Not like the bug stuff. Like hairspray. R-A-V-E hairspray. Or Aquanet hairspray. Not bug spray. Hairspray. Yes, yeah. Don't try doing this. Woo! That could get messy and really stinky. And really toxic real quick. So they pulled into a parking lot there on the side of the road. There was a community there, and they pulled in there, and they, at this point, because you can easily be like, if she was hit and left, you could easily quickly be like, well, maybe they thought it was deer, maybe they thought it was dog, maybe they weren't paying attention, they didn't realize, maybe. Okay, you could give them that pass to some extent. Not that they shouldn't have been responsible and paying attention, right? But they pulled into this parking lot and had to remove her from being attached to their vehicle in the parking lot. So they knew at that moment it was human life. And this was about 1:30 in the morning, and they left her. She was not found until shortly after 8, I believe it was, the next morning. So she was there all night in the rain. They tell us that they believe it was done on impact, that she didn't experience any of that. There's a part of you that wants to believe that. There's the part of you that says, or do they just tell you that to make you feel good, to make you feel better, to make you not, think about it. But at any rate, that person at that moment knew. They knew what they had done. They knew that they had taken a human life. And just left her there. Left her. And so we all found out. We all got the phone call. All right, so we've got our layers of hairspray, guys. Our layers of hairspray. So now we are going to, and I hope I did this right, y'all, because I'm not paying attention a whole lot tonight, but I'm going to use white. And I'm going to paint over this, okay? You don't want to overwork your paint. You don't want to like keep brushing it, because once it starts to crackle, if you continue to brush over it, you're going to be covering your crackle with fresh paint, and it's not going to crackle as well, okay? So you kind of want to get it done in one coat. You don't want to do multiple coats, okay? And this is so weird, I know, to be sharing the story and giving crafting instructions in the middle. I know it's weird, but that's what we do. We give crafting instructions here, and it helps me to be doing something, I think. And I'm proud of myself for not crying.
Good, you're doing better than I am.
I cried enough over the weekend, y'all. So where did I leave off?
I don't know, I'm trying not to pay attention.
Oh, I hope the whatever it's called, That's interesting. Could be really pretty though. That's interesting.
What?
The distressed oxide almost looks like it's coming through. Because it's not a paint. See how it's like yellow? That's interesting.
Let's see.
I think it's because the distressed oxide is bleeding through. Because I've never had that like show through like that. Okay, hold on guys. Let me focus on this for a minute. I'm going to continue the story. And hit some of my edges a little bit.
Ooh, Janice, did you sign up for our texting? FB didn't let her know when we came on.
Oh, yes. Facebook does not always let you know. Facebook and YouTube are not always the most reliable with YouTube.
She left off with them removing.
Okay, they've removed her and left her. So then somebody was coming home early in the morning and
Naya says you're doing way better than I am.
Thank you, Naya. Thank you. I'm sorry, Naya. Okay. Y'all, this is like not intentional, but it's like amazing what's happening here.
Oh, wow.
This distressed oxide is like coming through the paint and yellowing it, which is really, really interesting. Really interesting. Okay. Look how it's like turning yellow, almost like a sunset, how like the sky changes and like, look at that. That's pretty crazy. I would have thought that just that distressed oxide and having so many coats of the hairspray would like seal the distressed oxide in, but I've never had that happen like that where it actually changes the color of the paint. Very interesting. So I'm betting if this distressed oxide comes in all different colors. So I bet if you did like blue, it would come through as like blue hues, or if you know, it would come through in different hues. Like pink, you would come through with pink hues. I don't know. So I'm gonna start drying this. And hopefully it crackles. Hopefully the distressed oxide didn't like mess it up, whatever. Either way, it's gonna turn out the way it's meant to be. So.
You can see it's starting to crackle already.
Yeah, yeah. So so of course they called 911. Of course the investigation started, and we very quickly, like, we all gathered at my parents' house that night. The next day we all went to my brother-in-law's house and gathered and, you know, started trying to put the pieces together to what happened and how this all came about. And a lot of answers, a lot of things are still unanswered. I mean, we still have so many questions that were never answered. They still have not found the person responsible. They had a lot of really great leads. They had several people that they had investigated, but everything like fell out. Everything, it's like, everything. Sorry, I got distracted there. I got a text come through from someone. It distracted me. But there's a lot of, we don't know. We still don't know. It's still unsolved. I don't know. This is my plea. This is my plea. If somebody knows something, contact us and let us know. Contact the Macomb County Sheriff's Department and let them know, okay? Because I forgot to do this part. Sorry. I forgot to get my paint on this part. I don't even know if I hairsprayed this part, so this part might just be white. But that's okay. That's okay if it is. But, you know, I can't believe that whoever's responsible for this went 10 years and never told anybody, never said anything. Like, I find it hard to believe that somebody can truly, like, I mean, I guess they can. I guess anything's possible. There's people who take secrets to the grave with them all the time, right? I hope and pray that this person doesn't. I hope and pray that this person's conscious. I hope and pray that this person sees this. And they realize, finally, I can't live like this. My conscience, I got to clear my conscience. I got to do the right thing. I got to give this family some peace and closure. You know, she's got 5 kids who have never had that closure, have never had that ability to say the person responsible for taking mom is is going to pay the price that they need to pay, right? Or going to be held accountable. And I know someday they will. I know someday they will. Someday they will face judgment, and we would like to see it here on earth, though, quite frankly. Quite frankly, we'd like to see it done here on earth and up in heaven, okay? Quite frankly. So I don't know. I don't know if I missed any details. I don't know if I missed explaining anything, but that's why it's so hard. I mean, it's hard when you lose somebody, but when I say like in the way that we lost her, you know, it's really hard. It's just really hard because there was no closure. There was no, you know, there was no chance. We never got to say goodbye. We never truly got to say goodbye. Like it's not like we got to rush to the hospital and have time with her, you know, and say those final things. We never got to, you know, hold her hand. We never got to, you know, I mean, we had to have a closed casket. We never even got to, it's just not the same, you know. It's like, you know, like you tell yourself she's in there, but it's hard to really truly grasp that. Really truly. So so it's just hard. It's hard this time of year because it's her birthday. And in December 16th was when the accident was. So it's hard to it's just all the memories come up. All the memories pop up, the good memories, you know, of birthdays spent together, holidays spent together, doing things together with the kids when they were little. You know, but then we also get all the not so good memories popping up. We get I just cleaned out, you guys. I took a barbecue skewer and poked through the holes just to get any paint out of there that's kind of clumped up. I want to make sure I do that inside this big hole too, so it doesn't, I don't want to get it all over my fabric when I slip my fabric through. But we get all the memories of the Crime Stoppers photos that pop up, you know, and flyers that we shared, the pleas for people to, you know, come forward if they know anything, the news articles and news stories that had been shared on our Facebook pages, that all starts popping up. I mean, you all, this was huge news around here at the time. Like, it was every major news outlet, every newspaper, every radio station, everything. Everybody was talking about it. You couldn't escape it. And her community like came together like you wouldn't believe. I'm gonna do a quick coat of white on the back just to clean it up and make it look nicer. So there were fundraisers to raise money for rewards. There was fundraisers to raise money. It was on billboards as you drove down the streets. I mean, it was everywhere, and I don't know. I don't know. So it's just hard to escape this time of year, and I don't know. Did I miss anything, Tim?
No, I think.
I mean, her funeral was literally standing room only. Like, there were people who couldn't even fit into the church. There were people standing in the nursery, looking through the nursery window to view because they couldn't get into the church. There were people standing out in the hallway because there just was, she just impacted so many people's lives in positive ways. And it was so high profile that everybody heard about it and knew about it. You know, childhood friends that we hadn't seen in years, you know, showed up to show the family support. I mean, it was incredible. It was incredible. The hardest thing ever was standing up and sharing at the funeral.
Charlene Horn.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're able to craft and talk about this.
Y'all, I've been crying for days. I've been crying for days. And it's one of those things where, and that's one thing. So kind of the aftermath and the outcome of this, of when this happened, it was so high profile. Like, they had press conferences that, you know, the family that we had to go to, There were news stations that came to fundraisers and wanted to talk to someone, and no one in my family was really like to be in the limelight. None of us wanted to be. Oh, here comes Tim. I don't know what he's coming in. Tim's rolling in, y'all.
I got to get my chair over here. Okay, y'all.
Uh-oh. I don't know where you're going.
My wife, before this happened, my wife she hated, she worse than me on talking to people.
I didn't talk to anyone.
She didn't talk to anybody. If a phone call needed to be made for something, she would tell me I had to call. I would have to do it. Or, if something, we had to talk to somebody, you got to do it.
I did not like to talk to people I did not know.
Mm-mm.
I had
Nope.
a lot of anxiety.
A lot.
With strangers and people I didn't know, even just talking to them on the phone. Like, I see those TikToks where people are like, someone posted a TikTok and it talked about, building up your pushing through your anxiety and building up your courage to just make a phone call and then for them to not answer or something like that. And you're like, oh, geez. And then you're just exhausted and you're wore out because it just took so much energy out of you to do that. That was me. I did not like to talk to anyone. But every time they just wanted someone, who can talk, and nobody wanted to, and nobody, and I don't know what came over me. Like I'll do it. I'll do it. I mean, it had to be done. It had to be done. So I was like, I'll do it. Huh? Oh, Penny. The night before my brother was killed, we had a big fight, and I told him I wish he was dead. Well, the next morning, he was hit head-on by a coal truck. So I keep telling people, watch what you wish for or say, because it would come back and bite you. Penny, now I'm going to cry. My sister and I...
Sorry, that just hit me.
No, it's okay. My sister and I, when we were little, we would fight. But as adults, we would disagree on things, but we had never truly fought, where we were mad at each other and we yelled at each other and we were just angry with each other. We still loved each other, but we were mad at each other. We got in a fight. My sister and I, Thanksgiving weekend, we got in a fight. We got in an argument. I called her a bad word. I said, you're acting like that's not like me. I don't do that. I don't say that. I was just so frustrated.
She does not talk
come
like
to
that.
find out, she came in hot about something, and I was tired, and I was cranky, and I was we were away, and Tim wasn't with me, and all my kids were little, and I was busy taking care of them, and I was exhausted, and it had been a long day, and it just rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm like, girl, don't you come in here. We're working hard. We're trying, girl. And we had just gotten into it, and we had never, ever, as adults, fought or argued like that. We just didn't. I've never argued like that with any of my sisters. Any of them. Even my brothers. I don't get in arguments like that with people. I just don't. I usually just let things go. Okay. But we had gotten in an argument. Fortunately for me, a family friend was going through a tough time, and so she reached out to me because I had sent her a couple messages and she didn't reply to me because she was upset with me because I called her a bad word. But this friend of ours who was going through a really, really tough time, I appreciate him for bringing us together, because she reached out to me and she called me just about a week before this happened. And she said, pray for our friend. He needs our prayers. And I know you'll pray for him. So I'm calling you, and I kind of we talked it out a little bit, and we both came to the conclusion, she's like, I don't want to rehash it. I don't want to talk it over and over, so we kind of came to an understanding, and she shared some things with me that I had no idea she was going through, which caused her to react this way. So I understood her more and more of what was happening with her. So I was fortunate to have that opportunity. But you are right. You never know if you are going to have tomorrow. You never know if you're going to have that chance to make up with somebody. So if you can work it out and you can stay there and you can stick it out and you can come to a mutual understanding and work through something, absolutely do it, because you never know when they may be taken or you may be taken. We don't know. I mean, things happen. We lose people every day. Every day on this earth, we lose people. And we don't know when it's going to be our turn or our family's turn, you know? So, all right, here's our angel so far, guys. It didn't crackle like a ton. I'm trying to hold it up close so you guys can see. It didn't it crackled a little bit on the wings, but y'all, I don't care. That it's kind of neat because my sister, every time I see sunsets, it makes me feel good to think that the angels in heaven are painting the sunsets. That's their job, okay? The artist, the artistic people, the creative people that were creative and artistic here on earth, I feel like every angel has a job, right? Every angel's given a job. I feel like if my sister was given a job in heaven, her job would be to paint the sunsets and the sunrises. So when I see pretty sunsets and I see pretty sunrises, I think of my sister. So it's kind of fitting that this almost looks like the sky of a beautiful sunset, a very yellow, beautiful sunset sky. So I love it. I love it regardless. I was going for a crackle finish, but this is what I got, and I think it's even better, okay? I think it's even better, despite my crying. So there is some crackle there, though. There is some. I definitely think the Distressed Oxide played a little bit of funkiness with this. All right, so I am going to get this piece up here because I don't want to get paint on my fabric. This fabric that I'm using, very fitting, is fabric that was gifted to me after my sister passed away. So we're gonna kind of come back to where I left off the story. Remember when I was talking about I was trying to decide whether I should start this page or not. And I was talking with my other sister about it, and I was praying about it.
We're only jumping back about 22 minutes.
We're like bouncing all over the place, okay? But I kind of talked about this.
Sorry, guys. 42 minutes.
I talked about this at the beginning, about starting a page. And then I decided we needed to go back to the story of what happened with my sister, and then I can continue on with this. So through this time, okay, I'm going back a little bit further. So after my sister passed away, there was a lot of media attention. There was a lot of news conferences and things like that, and interviews and things where they would come out, and somehow I ended up being kind of the spokesperson of sorts for the family and talking with them. And we were at an event at a fundraiser, and it was incredible, the community support and the number of people that came to this event. And they were literally lined out the door. It was over a 2.5 hour wait for people to be seated at this restaurant so that they could contribute towards this fundraiser. And they had a DJ there that night. They had all kinds of stuff. And they came over and they're like, we really, really need someone from the family to come up and say something. There are people waiting. We have a 2.5 hour wait. There's people standing outside. If someone could just kind of get up and say something just to kind of like calm the crowd and kind of like just reassure them that, you know, we know you're there and you're not being ignored, and we appreciate you and all that. So I went up there, and y'all, I don't even know what I said. I don't know what I said. And I remember getting off the stage and saying, and the lady saying that was, I said, I don't know, hopefully that was okay. And she's like, it was perfect. She said it was absolutely perfect. I couldn't have suggested you to say it any better. You know, it was perfect. And somebody had asked me, like, how do you do it? How do you know what to say? How did you say that so eloquently? And I'm like, I don't even know what I said. Like, I don't even know. And I think about that, like the footprints prayer, the footprints. You always see the little, the footprints prayer. with the little footprints in the sand, and it talks about how, you know, God, you left me alone. You left me alone. You were walking with me, and there were 2 sets of footprints. And then when I needed you the most, I look back and there's only 1 set of footprints, and you left me. You left me alone. I needed you. Where were you? You know, and his response was, I was there.
Oh,
I
stop
picked you up. Oh, I'm sorry. I got Tim crying now, y'all. And he said, I was there. I picked you up and I carried you through the storm. I carried you when you needed me. And that's all I can think is like, because y'all, I was angry. I was so angry at God. I was angry. I was mad. How could he take her? How could he take such a beautiful person? How could he take my sister? You know, my nieces and nephews' mother. How could he take her? Like, how could it be her time? Something must be wrong. It can't be right. Something must be wrong. He made a mistake. You shouldn't have taken her. You know, her kids needed her. I needed her. My parents needed her. My other siblings needed her. My nieces and nephew, our family needed her. You know, so I just was angry. I wasn't praying because I was angry. I was mad. I'm mad at you. I'm not going to pray to you. I'm mad at you. I don't understand it. And I was angry. And we were super, super busy and we had a lot going on. And I remember going to church and sitting there at church and just being angry and being mad that it's not right, it's not fair. And then I felt guilty for being angry. And, you know, it's just all these emotions. But somebody had asked me at one of these events, because guys, this went on for months. This wasn't just like a couple weeks and done. This went on for months. And we were at one of these events, and I stepped forward and I did what I needed to do. And I finally was kind of coming around and finally realizing and understanding. And I finally it came to the realization that, you know, when they asked me, how did you do that? How did you know what to say? How do you do that? I'm like, I don't know how I do that, but only thing I can think is God took over when I couldn't. He gave me the words. He gave me the voice. He gave me the courage and the strength to stand up and talk and to do this because I couldn't have done it on my own. I didn't have the strength and the power to do it on my own. Heck, y'all, I don't have the strength and the power to get up out of bed half the day on my own. I mean, like, it's no secret, you know, I share my faith and I try not to shove it down people's throats because I know some people, you know, I don't want to push it on people, but, you know, it's my faith and it's what got me through. And I'm going to answer that question when it's asked. But yeah, you know, that was, so I never would have done this had I not been through all of that. Okay. Long story, the sunset, the artistic angels in heaven. My sister was an artist, okay? My sister was incredibly talented, okay? Incredibly. So when I was deciding...
Talo's telling me to hug her. I would, but then you'd see me bawling, so...
He doesn't want you guys to see him crying. He's over there a little teary-eyed himself.
Yeah.
So my sister... When I was going through the decision, trying to decide whether to do this or not, I got a phone call. A very unexpected phone call, okay? Everybody handles grief in different ways. Everybody deals with grief in different ways. And during this time... I'm cutting this about, just so only reason I'm measuring this, guys, is because I know people will ask. And I want to be able to give you a measurement, but it depends on the fabric you use. Really, of if you want it to be thicker or thinner, okay? So I'm doing 12 inches long by 10 inches. If you're using a thinner fabric than I am, you might want to go a little bit wider. If you're using a thicker fabric than I am, you're going to want to go a little bit thinner. You could use a flannel shirt that was, you know, Grandpa's flannel shirt. You could use grandma's old wedding dress that, you know, something like that. I don't know if your family won't, don't cut up the wedding dress if your family will be upset, but if you have full rights and permission to it, it would make a beautiful angel.
Or even part
This-
of like the underskirt part of it.
The underskirt part of the dress that no one's gonna notice or miss, that's a good idea too. I'm doing it about 10 inches wide, but either way, about 12 inches long is a good length, okay? But the width depends on the thickness of your fabric that you're using. You could even just buy pretty fabric at the fabric store and just make some pretty angels if you want to. It doesn't have to be a memorial angel with fabric from, because, you know, we don't all necessarily have pieces of fabric that have sentimental meaning. But my sister was an artist, and when I was trying to make this decision, I got a phone call from my brother-in-law asking me, and this was, mind you, 6.5 years, 7 years,
About 6.5.
about 6.5 years. Well, it was right before I started, like literally within a month before I started. It was September. It was early September. It was literally about 7 years, almost 7 years after this had happened. I got an out of the blue text message. I'm going through your sister's stuff, and I wanted to know if you want all of her crafting stuff. I'm like, yes, 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 please. Of course, yes.
And that's
That's,
this?
Yes. These shelves were my
all these
sister's.
shelves down here.
I didn't know those were included. He had just said, you want all her crafting stuff? And I said, yes. So I was going to go pick up all her crafting stuff. And he,
Oh wow. Naya says, I'm crying even more
sorry, Naya.
thinking about her necklace I wore. Ugh.
I know. Naya, now you got Tim crying. Now you got Tim crying. He can't read your comment. Where is it? Where is it? Now I'm crying even more. Now I'm thinking about her necklace I wore on my wedding day. You never know what random items will be a cherished item. I know. You never know. So I'm gathering my fabric, guys. Just kind of
Here's
gathering
the
it
thing.
together.
Sandra and I had a love-hate relationship.
They love to hate each other. Just kidding.
We did.
No, they were just both had very
We
strong,
were-
they had very strong personalities.
Yeah, and Sandra and I butted heads more times than not.
I will tell you, when you are pulling your fabric through, if you're using a thicker fabric, do not hold the head. Hold the wings, okay? Because if you hold the head and you're trying to tug at fabric, you could break the head off, and we don't need any headless angels around here, okay? We don't need any headless angels, okay?
But it was...
So just hold the wings and just gently pull it through and, you know, pinch it together and work it through, okay? Until you get about halfway through so your fabrics line up evenly.
But you know what? We didn't agree all the time. We butted heads a lot, but yet, you know, we still.
I think that is probably
along.
one of the most valuable lessons that you probably learned from my family. Is at the end of the day, you're family, and no matter what happens, we're family, and we love each other, and family's there for each other, and family can work through anything if they put the effort to it and they're willing to work through it. That would be my thing.
Because it was. I worked with her quite a bit.
Yep, he did.
Quite honestly.
So I got this phone call asking if I wanted all her stuff, and with all her stuff, you guys, I got a big spool. My sister was an artist. She loved to paint, and she had a whole roll of canvas that you would like stretch and put over, frames, like painting canvas. And that's what this is. This is actually canvas. That was my sister's that she had purchased with intention to do something with. And so that is what this angel is being made out of. And I did make memorial angels a couple years ago for my family using this fabric as wings. So I might have to make some of these too for them. I'm gonna grab some twine. I'm using a lighter color twine. You can use any color you want. You can use ribbon. It doesn't have to be twine. You can use anything you want. I'm cutting it probably about 18 inches. I don't necessarily probably need a full 18 inches, but that's what I'm cutting it at. I'm gonna put it through the 2 holes on the back. So those little holes down there, that's what we wanted to make sure we cleaned them out. So putting them through the back. We're all crying with you from your loss and our own loved ones in heaven. Ethel, I know so many of you guys can relate. So many of you guys have stories similar to mine, have, you know, lost loved ones in tragic, unfair ways, unexpectedly. So many of you have lost loved ones to illness, and, you know, it just seems unfair. And it's unfortunately, it's a part of life. It is. But we never want it to be part of our life, right?
How would you make the angel a boy?
Just
think
use
just coloring?
just coloring. Use blue
Different
colors. You can maybe do the fabric maybe a little bit more like pleated, or you could maybe, let me think a minute if there's any other alternatives, but definitely color could play a role in it. Doing patterns that are more masculine. I do feel like you could potentially like slit the centers of your fabric and kind of maybe separate them so they're kind of like more like legs as opposed to like a dress. I think you could probably play around with that. Maybe play with it with some scrap fabric that's not super, super special first. So for this one, I'm gonna just tie it in a bow on the front, but with this little name, this little plate on the front here, you can take a fine tip pen or a marker,
Chrissy.
and you can oh, that's super sweet, Patricia. I think that's a good idea. So you can, what was I saying? You can tie it in a bow like I am, but you could use a fine tip pen or like a paint pen and write someone's name on it if
Or
you
if
want
you-
to, because there's
And Charmaine actually has a good kind of idea there. You can use different fabrics for. Why did your screen get so dark? For different people, if they
I think
if
we're
you
done.
don't have any, clothing of theirs, any shirts of theirs, use something that reminds you of them.
Right. Like, so say somebody was, I don't know why my screen is going so dark. My battery's low, but it's not that low. Hold on, guys. There we go. Like if somebody loved boating, you could get some nautical fabric, or if someone loved hunting, you can get some hunting type fabric. You can kind of incorporate the fabric to remind you of them. That's a great idea, Miss Charmaine. So this one here, this is my little angel, and I'll use a piece of twine as a hanger. But how pretty is that? So I just tied a little bow, so I'm kind of holding it back and forth for Facebook and YouTube. Look how pretty that is. Like that, you guys, that really looks like a sunset, like a beautiful yellow and golden sunset. To me, it does anyways. So you could do it like a bow like that, or you could, I kind of threw this one together just for the idea to show you. You can just tie it in little knots like that, and you can write somebody's name there. You can write mom, you can write loved, you can do a little heart with maybe a little dash on either side. So you can kind of, and also for like a more masculine, when you might not want to do a bow, you could just do the little knots like that as well. You could write stuff on the wings if you wanted to. You could put a little message handwritten on the back before you gift it to somebody. You could even put a little tag or something on the inside with a little hidden message if you wanted to. I mean, really the possibilities are endless with these. But you guys, I think I'm definitely going to make some more of these with that distressed oxide, because I think that actually turned out really, really cool like that.
Oh wow!
Isn't that neat? I think that's perfect. I think it's perfect.
It didn't crack a ton, but
It didn't crackle a whole lot, but it did crackle.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's so
It
bizarre
is.
to me what happened there. But things happen. Yes, you could put dates on it if you wanted to. There's so many different things that you can do. So, Jenna, send us a private message to the Facebook page.
I was just gonna
Yeah, just send us a private message.
reply that.
Over to the on Facebook. So yeah, guys, that is my sister's story. So maybe you'll understand a little bit more when I say weird things like the way we lost her and things like that.
I love you, Aunt Chrissy and Uncle Tim. Thank you so much
Naya.
for making this video.
Thank you, Naya. You are very welcome. It was a hard video. I had a lot of anxiety today leading up to it. Knowing the right things to say and not to say.
Where did you get the distress oxide? Do we have a thing?
We do. We will have this in our store eventually. Like, it's in our store, but like it'll be available online eventually for you guys. But in the meantime, I got it from Amazon. Tim will pop a link there for you, but you can get it at different craft stores and stuff too. So he'll pop the link there for you. But we are going to gift 2 of these angels too here. But before we do that, Miss Patricia suggested that, maybe we can say a prayer. And if you guys are okay with that, I'm going to do that. It's totally up to you if you listen or not. You can mute it for a minute if you want to. But we're going to gift these angels in a minute to someone who sprinkled our video or whatever. I don't know. We'll just pick somebody. And we'll pick somebody from YouTube and we'll pick somebody from Facebook. So Tim's going to grab the link for you. So I'm going to say a little prayer, guys. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I feel like I'm almost out of words tonight. But God will give me the words. So, dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. We thank you for this opportunity to connect with others. We thank you for this opportunity to be able to share my sister's story again. We thank you for the opportunities to be able to keep her memory alive, and for so many here that are with us, for the opportunities for them to be able to share what's going on, in their hearts and in their lives and with those that they've lost, Lord. We just ask that you comfort each and every one of our friends through this holiday season who have lost somebody, and just give them comfort and help them to find joy in the holidays, to find joy in the family and friends that they do have around, Lord. To be able to not only find joy, but give them the courage and the strength to be able to spread joy to somebody else and to help bring some happiness to someone else's lives. Because I know firsthand, Lord, when you can bring happiness to somebody else, it brings happiness to you. And some days, gosh, some days we really need you to help us with that. We really need to draw the strength and courage from you just to get out of bed, let alone go out and spread the joy. But if anyone can give us that, we know it's you, Lord. And we just ask that you continue to bless this page, bless this community, and comfort all of those that are here tonight, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen. So, all right. So Tim is going to, did you share that link?
Yes.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for allowing me to share my sister's story. And I will say one shameless plug, if you know anything, if you've heard anything about this story or you know something about it, reach out to us or reach out to the Macomb County Sheriff Department. And
Roger Crow is watching on YouTube.
Yay.
It says you can use an old shirt belonging to a loved one to make a pillow that you can hold on to.
You could do that too. Yes, you can. All right, so we're gonna gift these. We're gonna gift 2 of these. We're gonna pick somebody from. Yes, we got 2.
A 2.
2. So we're gonna. What do you say? Someone from YouTube and someone from Facebook. Does that work, or just pick 2 people? We'll just pick 2 people. Tim's just gonna pick 2 people. I don't know. I'm gonna let Tim pick people. We're not gonna dance and scroll and do all the wildness tonight, y'all. We're not gonna do all that. I'm just gonna. I'm drained. I'm tired, y'all. So Tim is going
I'm
to.
exhausted right
I'm just
now.
gonna have him pick 2 people. Okay. So, you ready, Freddie?
Yeah.
All right. So you want to do YouTube or Facebook first?
Facebook first.
All right.
Here's Facebook.
Who's gonna be? He's writing it down. Yellow sticky, golden sticky note. And then he's going to pick some from YouTube. So we have, this is from Facebook.
Yes.
Miss Debbie Elliott. Debbie Elliott. Debbielliot. Miss Debbie Elliott. Send us a private message here on the Facebook page and we will get this little angel sent out to you so you can create a memorial angel as well. Okay? And then we will pick somebody.
Where's my
from
pen?
pen.
You stole my
Sorry.
pen.
Oh, there's one right there too. That's
Where?
okay. Right there was one too. So, all right.
No, you stole my pen.
There's, okay. We have more than one pen around here, y'all.
No, we don't.
Okay, I stole your pen. Okay. Y'all. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you, Michelle.
All right.
All right. Sticky note. So this is one of our friends from YouTube. We're going to gift this one too.
Oh, son of a gun.
Thank you, Miss Michelle. Or Michaela. Thank you, Michaela. This is Loretta Houston. Loretta Houston. Miss Loretta Houston on YouTube. Come on over to Facebook and send us a private message with your address. And we're going to send you this little memorial angel set so you can make a memorial angel too. Okay? So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being supportive. And I promise you we're going to go back to having fun and things not so heavy around here. It's been a little heavy the last couple days, but that's just the season of life we're in right now in this moment. And we're going to get through it. And you guys have helped me get through it. And you guys have been very gracious to me as I've gone through it the last couple days. So thank you guys for that. One last look at our little memorial angel we've made. If you didn't get picked and you didn't win one and you want one, we do have these in the shop. If it does say back order, that just means give us an extra day to get it shipped. But these ones actually cut really fast, so he can whip up more of these pretty quickly for you. So, so they are in the shop. The link is in the description of the video and in the comments. So we love you guys. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you. I just can't thank you guys enough. You guys are amazing.
You guys are awesome.
All I can say is thank you and hope that it's enough because I don't know what else to say. So we love you. And Rose, everything's okay. I just shared the story tonight about my sister and her passing. And definitely, if you're interested, go back and watch the replay. And then you'll be able to catch up on what was going on. So we love you guys. We love you. I don't know what else. We love you. Good night, guys.
Have a good night, guys.